Welcome back, baby, and children, and toddlers, and adults, and kids, and nothing really. Just no labels. Welcome back. Even if you're not back, welcome forward. So progressive. This is part 3 of Tablet Talk. We're here with Matthew Barnes. This is his translation of one of my many writings and this whole series, all about now that I'm revisiting this world that I've left many writings, many art pieces in from quote unquote long ago. The way that it's being taught and explained, especially in English through these multiple languages, but specifically English, is not good, especially because the intentions of the English already are to disconnect you from spirituality. And many languages, even like just Latin-based languages. So that's where I'm here. Muscucci, Chase Clarence Calloway. I speak English pretty well. And as the mind that actually put out this artwork, I'm now doing my best. We're in here all together because this awakening is pretty wild. Just life in general, bro. Always an awakening every day. Life is pretty wild. This awakening is pretty wild. And yeah, just doing my best with the tools that I'm given and my best to relate my infinite perspective of the universe to your infinite perspective of the universe. Because, I mean, we're not relatable at all. If we're both just in our imaginations, how are we going to communicate if we don't create some kind of grounding in which we can relate and feel like we are referring to the same thing? Right. We need this. We need language. So, we don't need it. It's just, I don't know, bro. Whatever. As though maybe I have a whole thing with externalizing myself. It's just communication is like important. I'm trying to imagine like a way that you communicate without language. And it's like you can send feelings to people, but like feelings are different to everyone. Everyone has a different imagination of what their feeling looks like. Happiness to me doesn't look like happiness to you. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Spirits criticize the language thing sometimes. It's like, why don't you just be telepathic, though? It's like, yeah. I mean, you're not like totally wrong. Just, can we ground it, please? Whatever. Number 8. By this means you will rule the world. The mass of humankind are not the kings and queens of their own castles, but paupers and puppets instead. They do not rule their own lives, but tend to be ruled by the world by the world around them. Okay, I'm gonna be real with you right now. I don't know exactly what time period this is talking about. In general, the energy that this would be talking about are people who live under a government instead of as individuals. So those would be people who they're not kings and queens of their own castles, right? Even the fact that this is that language and we have this emotional reference point for that allows us to point at the energy of authority and control and government, because that's what this is all about in that case. So it just like changes, right? The details of like having control over someone based on if they are using your idea to express their individuality. If you can get a spirit to use your idea, like money, to express their individuality, you got them. Their soul is trapped. They are dragged along this way and that by their wants and needs and desires, and the dramas and storms of life whirling about. Again, chaotic, we're talking about spirits that don't ground themselves because they're so emotionally reactive to the environment that spirits who do ground themselves can then control light, earth, the densest light, to manipulate those watery spirits. And then those watery spirits put their water into whatever earth pops up instead of whatever earth they built on an elemental level. And then that's where spirits with higher awareness would use other spirits' emotional reactivity to build life for themselves. Things go well, and they tend to be happy. Things go badly, and they tend to be sad. When they get what they want, they tend to be happy. When they don't get what they want, they tend to be sad. Emotional reactivity. Completely out of their own hands is their own peace of mind, their contentment, their happiness. Even when things do go their way, the ultimate fear of decline and decay and death steps in and sits at the back of their mind, gnawing away at any short-lived happiness or peace they may have been lucky enough to obtain. That's real. So now here we are talking about on a spiritual level how emotional reactivity in a physical way. So if you're physically reacting to the environment and you're scared of anything, whatever, it shows that in a mental realm, you're creating things for yourself almost to be scared of. And they're starting to play out in physical reality. Because projection being perception, that's where you wouldn't even see it in physical reality if you didn't have it in your space in some way. And this is the balance of spirits then accumulating more experiences so that they can have more wisdom because they have memories of these past times where it's like, okay, this happened here, and now I'm holding on to it in my bag. So anytime that situation comes up, I can cut that in half with this light sword that I've created, with this metallic thought, put fire to earth and crafted a knife that will cut through any situation that looks like it may result in me feeling the negative emotions that I felt before, which I don't want to now. So that's where a lot of spirits will mess themselves up in terms of, we're talking like grounding it on a human level, manifesting their life and their desires. The moment they get an idea, they become the demon in their own life because they don't believe in themselves. So although they have something they want to do, they don't actually feel like they can do it. And that's where they're immediately emotionally reactive. They're not actually picking a side. They're split in between two. So they're only water. There's no earth there. They're not fixed on a thought. Yeah, I was just about to say, like, emotional reactivity is like not a fun place to be. Like, to be able to pick an emotion and like pick the thought and solidify it is sort of, in my opinion, not going to say the whole point, but essential in enjoying life. Like, you're really only going to enjoy life once you pick the emotions that you want to feel and you know represent you, and then you build structures that support those emotions. And then when you reflexively build those structures and put those emotions that you want to feel into that thought before you even see it in the world. Now we're talking about elemental manifestation. I should low-key say this for an online course, but I won't. Just say it here. Because literally, yes, that's what we're talking about as far as elemental manifestation. When you like see the emotions, you know how you want to feel as a spirit, you know, because some kind of feeling expresses your infinity. This is how we know that it's overall feminine and not masculine, because it's about feeling. It's just then when you want to pick and stabilize something in the spectrum of infinity, that's where you come in with the thought. And that's where you actually come in like, okay, I'm actually going to build a structure here. And then the real test is, can you generate the emotion and put it into that thought before it's even created? Because that's what a spirit has to do, to create something out of nothing. Awaken, and the truth of this world will open up before you, and all of this will change forever. You will no longer fear death, as the masses do, or poverty, or illness. Though the storms of life may toss and roar and throw you about, and they will no longer hold any sway over the peace in your mind and heart. Mm. Death can no longer touch you, nor can poverty or illness or decay. Whatever comes your way, you will be able to enjoy. Whatever goes away simply goes. You need nothing, so nothing has any power over you. None whatsoever. Now that's the hardest shit in here. You see, they should have taken that out. You need nothing. How about welcome to fasting life then? Just say fast. And then what is nothing? Spirit. Your spirit is nothing. Your spirit's not light. Your spirit is nothing. So you need spirit. That's the only thing you need is nothing. Because that's infinity. And it's so infinite, it's nothing. And then you create something out of nothing, and that's you. Then, and only then, can you enjoy everything. You will then have become the king or queen of your castle, and can drift happily through this life without a care in the world. Now we're talking about keeping a vibration so light in your mind that your body reflects that, even as earth. And then that's where, even when you see situations that are negative, it's like you can see it, but you don't even project negativity onto that. And because you don't actually project the negativity onto the situation that you can see as negative, you're not actually agreeing to it, and you're creating the higher vibration that your mind is more so in. So then it reflects how you view the world in a much more positive light than it actually is. And that's what it takes for spirits to change the world anyway, to change their mind. Manifestation, magic. You will become the ruler of your world. You will become as if a god among men. Rule your mind, because the mind is everything. The spirit realm and the physical realm are both ruled by the mind, because the spirit realm creates the mind so that it can get lost in the physical. Nine. And all darkness and ignorance will leave you. Now, this makes me mad. In fact, should we get a little dark? Fuck that. Just because you're trying to say darkness is whack, bro. Look. Honestly, I might even turn off these lights. Now I'm just getting dramatic for no reason. For real though, darkness is not ignorance. Light is ignorance. They're really trying to fuck with you. Like, they're really trying to trap your ass. This is insane. Look. When that light illuminates your being, all darkness recedes. For darkness is not equal to the light, but merely the absence of it, bro. Boo. Boo. Insane. Does that make sense? I want you to picture that. That sounds like a desire to me, bro. Does that make sense? Show me where in nature there is only light and darkness is the absence of it. They're literally saying then that darkness is natural. They're saying that light is natural. See, I'm the truth, bro. Nah, they're saying that light is natural and darkness is unnatural. And they're trying to say that darkness is merely the absence of light. So that would literally mean in nature, when you walk into a dark room, it's not dark. Like when you go underground, it's not dark. It's ignorance and fake because there's no light there. But anytime you cast a light, you have to cast a shadow. So you can't avoid darkness because light always casts some sort of darkness. You could never have an all-enveloping light. Look at all the shadows that are made when I move this light. Like, all light comes from darkness. This is like Anubis would be very upset. Anubis would tear whoever commandeered and authorized this up. Because that's insane. That's so wrong. when that light illuminates your being, all darkness recedes. So they're saying that you already have darkness. So you already have darkness inside of you. But once you gain an awareness, you will get filled with light that illuminates your being. And you get so full of light that the darkness recedes. Because all darkness is not equal to the light, but merely the absence of it. Then where'd the light come from? Insane. All right, look. So this is how I'm about to explain it right now. Nothingness is nothing. There's the infinite spectrum of emotion, and then there is like stabilizing one emotion and like somehow like the opposite of emotion, which is like almost impossible. It is impossible. So that's where you get thoughts and feelings. So a thought is just a feeling that was focused on so hard it became earth. And then that's why we have elements to explain how light moves based on the darkness that it came from or the feeling that it came from. So everything vibrates. So that's the point of vibration. Vibration is feeling. Everything's vibrating at a certain frequency based on the intentions that it has. And yeah, the way it feels about those intentions and all that. So to think that light can somehow get rid of darkness would mean that a thought can get rid of emotion. And that is the most white supremacist logic, light supremacist, Freemasonic, Illuminati, Martian logic ever. That you can have so much of one thought that you won't feel anything anymore. And that thought is everything. Like that literally just sounds like Lucifer or just any being with light, with any one imagination being like, hey, use all of your imagination for me. Me. Boo. Boo. Yeah, no, boo. So when we're darkness, the darkness, you can't see it. That's how I'm explaining it. Darkness is invisible. So when you're in the dark, everyone looks the same. Everything looks the same, right? Everything's invisible in the dark. And notice, invisible doesn't mean you go Danny Phantom and you go, you phase through objects. Like invisible, right? Like the invisible woman in Fantastic Four, she's still there. So think like that. In a dark room, in darkness, everyone is invisible. You can't see them. You can only feel them. You can only feel people in a dark room. The moment you shine a light, now you can see them. And now you can get distracted by who they are, right? Notice how, that's funny, everyone's black. You know, like white people are ruling the world. You know, they love killing black people and draining all the emotions on, you know, whether they're really killing black people or not, and like whether slavery somehow really happened and did it really ever end, and now Black Lives Matter after all this time. Like, they love doing that. And the whole funny thing about how obsessed they are with race is that in darkness, they're all black. Everyone's black. And spiritually, that shows how in darkness, everyone is all possibilities. So for me, darkness is all possibilities. That's feeling. Light is one possibility. That's when you hammer in like, okay, here's one imagination. Here's one idea. And then that's... Yes, we're back. Cut out technology. It's a thing. Whatever. The whole point, in fact, just want to say it again, because we're talking about darkness and light. And this is really everything right here. Because when you die and you get the option between darkness and light, there's a reason this world keeps saying, go towards the light if you are supposed to go to heaven. when really the only heaven is you creating your own heaven. And if you're going to create your own heaven, you need to take the light that you are as your seven and go into the infinite eight that is the darkness. And you have to not be scared of the darkness. And when you're not scared of the darkness, that's the actual way to your spirit, because now you can actually be the light and go out away from the simulation instead of back to the simulation, because really the simulation is a whole light thing. It's a whole light donut, a toroid, and that's the cycles. So then when you're like outside of there and you see it just as one light and it looks like love and light, it desires for you to come back. So all the light, everything that you've gone through in this life, that looks like heaven, because it's everything that you are attached to. This is why it's important for you to fast and not be attached to anything in this world, so that when you transform your body, you don't actually get trapped by any enticing light that this world tries to use to keep you here. So bunk bunk this. Like, light comes out of darkness, and darkness is a true representation of the spirit, because darkness is all possibilities. Darkness is feeling. Darkness is, we can say, like, it's simultaneously no light, yet all light bending in on itself. And now it's dark, because it's like all light, yet no light. And so then that's where it is the spirit. And that's where the spirit would really be the balance between all light and no light. But like all light looks like darkness. So this thing, like when they're trying to say that a light will illuminate your darkness so much that there won't be any more darkness, I mean, that's impossible. There's always darkness. Light creates darkness when you cast a light. So that just shows the inherent desire of whoever wrote this to all consume the universe. Like, they literally want to transform the whole universe into their idea, their fire, their image. Because that's what it means when you're in the darkness and everyone looks the same in the dark. Everyone's black in the dark. You can't tell if someone's Asian or white in the dark. It's just black. You have to then shine a light and get distracted by the devil in the details, where it's like, oh, now I see the color of their skin and I can make judgments, and now I can kill them and enslave them based on what this vision told me. And that's the whole point, is that this vision it wants to be all consuming. And the only thing that powers a vision is emotion. The only thing that powers light is darkness. The only thing that powers a thought is a feeling. The only thing that powers a man is a woman, a womb, a container to hold the thought. A thought just going forever, like, you can't have that. Like, it has to go into something. And then that's why a sine wave is just going straight forever on a constant, yet at the same time it's oscillation. And if you were to double that oscillation and flip it on itself, it's just circles in a line. And then it looks like a spine. And then if you move that line to the right, it looks like a 9. Whoa. And I mean, you could separate that line, then move it to the left and make it 2 different shapes, and now it's a 10, and now you're in heaven, or hev 10. Because 9-dimensional beings then get to just create their own heaven. And then that's where the universe goes on, and that's just creating new simulations and stuff. So the entities who are creating this, they want their simulation, their light, to be the end-all, be-all in the universe. So they're doing their best to change entities who have written things, like me, to claim that they're saying that light is everything, so that when you feel like you found real wisdom, you can then rest easy in having your soul trapped by the simulation. I won't stand for that, or sit for it, or anything in between. What is the darkness? The darkness is ignorance, the only real evil in this world. How fucking dare they? So spiritually, darkness is literally supposed to equate, this is racial, by the way. Darkness is supposed to equate to black people, and light equates to white people. right? Thoughts equate to white people and feelings equate to black people. That's why uh, every country in North and South America can continuously build its system off of the brutal rape, enslavement, and genocide of indigenous peoples and black peoples, quote unquote, calling them black peoples, um, because they feel like their thoughts are so separate from nature that it makes them superior to nature. And that black people, being a part of nature, are thus inferior to them, and they deserve to use all the feelings of black people to nurture their thoughts. So that's literally like, again, this is the play of darkness and light. Light is nurtured by darkness. White people are nurtured by black people. That's slavery. So many centuries of slavery in all of North and South America. And it just shows like this is their mentality. Like somehow they're rationalizing like, yeah, black people are evil, nature is evil. So we should use nature for artificial intelligence, and that's us. And like that's the rationalization, the logic that is necessary for them to generate the hate to hate nature and feel like they're ascending into this new vision that is this new world order, but really they're just killing themselves and everyone around them. And really, I mean, killing black people first, right? So yeah, no, darkness is not ignorance, by the way. Think about this. Hold up. Like, if you are sitting in a campfire, like inside of a campfire, like you're on fire. No, you are sitting by a campfire and you're looking at the flame and there's trees all around you, right? Like, can you see into the trees? Like, can you see into the darkness around you when there's a fire in front of you? No. No. Like, literally, like your pupils physically, they shrink because if they took in all the light from the fire in front of you, it would get blinded. So because your pupils shrink from not wanting to take in too much light from the fire, they literally are not big enough to absorb all the light that's coming from the darkness because it's still light. So light is ignorance, fire is ignorance. Like darkness is wisdom, darkness is truth. Obvious, like it's so dumb. This is insanely, horribly dumb. Um, makes no sense. Like on a physical level, it makes no sense, right? Because then when you're in the darkness and it's like actually dark where you are, you can see 100 different campfires all around you, aka stars. You can see all these visions, all these externalizations of spirits living life everywhere when you're in the darkness, when you're not projecting your own light, right? But if you're living a Leo life and you're projecting your own light, then you're only going to see yourself. You're only going to see your vision. You're only going to see people who reflect who you are. So no, no. Light is ignorance. Light is literally you ignoring everyone that's not you because you're focused on your thought. Or at the very least, a thought that appears to serve your ego. Like the government's thought. And that's, what this is talking about here. Like, they're just trying to weaponize that fact. That the government has people trapped, and it's because they're not obsessed with light, when it's the government that wants people obsessed with light. Boo. Boo. Darkness, ignorance, is but a lack of knowledge. I mean, you know what? That's facts. I mean, but fuck knowledge. Darkness is wisdom. You don't need knowledge when you have wisdom, really. Knowledge is meant to ground wisdom. Knowledge is made up. So the whole point of knowledge is that it's always going to refer to wisdom. Man. Darkness, ignorance is but a lack of knowledge. It breeds feelings of separation and fear. Light breeds feelings of separation and fear. I just explained that, right? Like if you're in a room and it's dark, everyone looks the same because everyone's black. So all you can do is feel people, and now you're having a way more human experience because you can only feel and smell people and hear people and taste them. Ooh. But you can't see them. You can't see them. You would need to shine your vision onto something, and then that's how you can see them. And then imagine if you were shining a light that's not like these lights that are on me, but like a green light, and everyone just looks green. See, now your vision's green. So it literally depends on the light that you're shining, and that's the light that reality is going to be cast in, that the bodies will be cast in. And then, yeah, this shit goes off the rails. I don't write like, I definitely was not writing like this back then at all. Like, whoa, like no, this is very wrong. Like now, this is like a whole straight up government agenda. Actually, I'm very upset by this. Darkness, ignorance is but a lack of knowledge. It brings feelings of separation and fear. Wrong. Light is separation. Literally, light is separation. Racism and sexism. What? Patriotism and creedism, elitism and partisanism, egotism and selfish concerns. That is so white supremacist government propaganda. It's hilarious. Like I was right. No. And so then it just begs the question, like, how much else of this is wrong? What else is taken out? In this ego, I'm here reacting to the light from my spiritual space. So I can't say for certain how much of this was taken out and messed up. That's the point of us having this series, so we can go through all the different translations of my tablets and like get to the truth, since I'm the one who actually wrote it. And not only did I write it, I've grown a lot since I've written it. And this is from a long while ago. This leads to envy and anger and hatred and violence. I mean, it's all now, but like, it's interesting, like finding the truth, but also like growing upon it, expounding upon it, building upon it, and like feeling like you're learning more. And like that feeling creates the opportunity to actually do it. But you have to create the feeling first, and then that shows the, you know, the invisible portion of zero going from 0 to 1. That middle part, the decimals in between. But the truth clears away the darkness. They're trying to say the New World Order vision is the truth, and fills us with a knowledge, with a knowledge. Bro, you are contradicting yourself badly. Comedy. But the truth clears away the darkness and fills us with a knowledge. We have a knowledge now because we're so filled with all this truth. And the truth just never ends. Boo. So you just get to make up the truth forever? That sounds like science, for sure. This is the fact. We're going to teach it in schools until it's not a fact in 2 years, but we're still the smartest and you're still dumb. And no matter how many times we admit that we're wrong, you're even more wrong for still worshiping us. So, spiritual, hey, whatever. They're not totally in the wrong then, huh? They're just living life. But I mean, no, there's genocide. So. It makes no sense. Fills us with a knowledge that erases all divisions. The lines that seem to separate us all melt into nothingness. So they're contradicting, like, because light is a line. Notice the L. Light, L, lie, line. It's all about casting a straight thing, whereas darkness is the representation of a circle. And spirit is nothing. And like if darkness had a shape, it would be a circle. And that's why, like, if spirit had to pick a shape, it picks a circle because it represents all possibilities the best in the most finite way. And that's why cycles and circles and C's are just so consistent in the design of life. Because light, life, the lie, is created from the truth, from the darkness of infinity and beyond. So this is so bad right now. This is like so bad. It's like they really like were like coming in with like the truth. They like had like the elemental things. I was like all happy about it, right? And then that's like the whole thing. Like they lead you up just to like got your ass, and get you with this. This is so contradictory. It doesn't make any sense. Like, especially again, when we think about physically, when you are in a room, it does not matter what anyone looks like in a room with no light. If you're underground with no light and it's just all earth around you, it's just all feelings around you that built a structure that doesn't let other light in, everyone looks the same because you just have to feel it out. Everyone you feel. So that's no divisions. Like them trying to say like the truth clears away the darkness to fill us with a never-ending light, a never-ending knowledge to erase all divisions. That literally sounds like obliterating your bodies and like consuming all of your bodies and your feelings into one idea. That's what it sounds like. The lines that so seem to separate us all melt into nothingness. The truth fills us with a compassion and an understanding and an empathy. Again, darkness is empathy. Like Daredevil, what? Like you have way more empathy when you can't see because you don't get distracted by details. I just brought up Daredevil because I was thinking about like superhero who can't see, and like just how vibrations are everything. We all have hearts that are beating. We all feel the same. Insane. Fills us with a compassion and understanding and an empathy and a feeling of kinship for all living things beyond that of which you can now scarcely imagine. For we do so love our divisions, do we not? Okay. Beyond that of which you can scarcely imagine. So it's not even your imagination. It's literally you getting consumed by someone else's imagination. Like you can't even imagine because it's not yours. You should imagine. Imagine. The universe wants it. What the fuck? For we do so love our divisions, do we not? Well, yeah, so we separate ourselves because that's the way that we express individuals, right? Individual, the I, the vision. That's the only way we can have division. It's division. Dividing visions. Like what? And one vision, what's the one vision? That we're all individual nothings. Creating the universe every second, every breath we take. Any all the time. Expanding, contracting. Mental muscles. Boo. Dramas that they breed, whatever. Once illuminated, you will see only eternity. Again, the campfire thing makes no sense. When you're actually in the dark, you can look out and see the cosmos. Now you're seeing eternity. Now you're seeing how all the other spirits are projecting their light so you can learn about something that's truly not you. Instead of fucking like being consumed by something that's not you. So you're only learning about one thing that's not you. Because you want to learn about all these things that aren't you so that you can learn about who you are inside of that. Who are you in these infinite cosmos of the universe? Boo. Once illuminated, you will see only eternity, only infinity, immortality, unity. Until then, you will see only decline and decay and death, and the divisions that seem to divide us all. Whack. You won't see anything. You feel so contradictory. So that's why you're here with me. All right, 10. Its power is above all power, for it creates and destroys every single thing, and penetrates everything as well, subtle and solid alike. Okay, well that's spirit, and spirit externalizes. It does this through chi, which is the unification of thought and feeling. Two polarities of infinite nothingness. So chaos and then stabilizing chaos into one point. Water and earth creates life. Elemental. You may think that you understand power, but as of yet, you know nothing. Aggression may seem powerful. Anger may seem powerful. You know nothing. I mean, nothing is the most powerful, whatever. Your size and your strength and your stubborn options may seem to give you power. Yeah, like the fact that they're even using nothing in a negative way there just shows how out of touch whoever is messing up this tablet is. Your size and your strength and your stubborn opinions may seem to give you power. You may think that you are powerful because you have money or possessions or status or because you have sway over other people. That's all light or metal. But these things are as nothing compared to the power that animates the living world. The power of which I speak spins galaxies, holds the stars in place, and rotates the earth on its axis. That's the three. The C, the chi. Okay? That is, again, the three, the C, the chi, the air, the ka, is what the spirit looks like. That's what nothing looks like because it united its thought and feeling, its man and woman to create life. Not fire. This is gonna try and hammer in like fire is what animates it. That's death. That is ignoring the woman. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. All that is, all that was, and all that will be was created by this power. Boo! Boo! More trying to make you worship something that's not you. Like you're not nothing, just like whoever changed this. Like you're not just as infinite, and like you don't have just as awesome of an imagination that you could believe in just as well as whoever believed in their imagination enough to steal my shit and change it and lie to you and me. Yeah, no. And all that is, all that was, and all that will be torn down by the same power in time. So it's just talking about destruction and how, you know, it God gave you life and God can take it away from you. The government gave you life and the government can take it away from you. Nothing escapes its grasp, not the smallest object in the world, nor the largest. Not the hardest object in the world, nor the softest. Not the toughest object in the world, nor the weakest. All are subject to its power, including your body. Again, spiritually is talking about chi. Physically is trying to hammer in that this is the government or the Luciferian New World light white supremacist agenda. No matter how wonderful you may think you are as nothing next to this power. You are less than even a speck of dust on a speck of dust. Your own individual power does not even register compared to the power of which I speak. This is lostness. I would never write this. Yo, I would never say this to you. Like, I'm about to tear up. Like, you, yes. I would never say this to you, dear wonderful spirit who is linking with me through this digital externalization screen, yet we're connected because here we are riding this same spaceship. I would never say this to you. As Chase Clarence Calloway, as Tahuti with the booty, as though, as fucking symmetry, never, never, ever, ever would Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great, tell you that you are less than even a speck of dust on a speck of dust, and your own individual power does not even register compared to the power of which I. How dare they? But the great power lies within you, untapped, unused. Awaken to its presence, and then you will know power, real power. You will bear witness to the greatest force ever known. It is already there, within you and all around you. You simply cannot see it or use it as of yet. I may have been saying all that speaking too soon because now it's like, okay, fine, you're talking about chi, so maybe it was like if you're lost in the physical, no matter how wonderful you may think you are, you're nothing next to this power. So, okay, all right, my bad. That was me getting emotional, bro, because like this is like really messed with, and it's like really, it's like subliminal. Like I don't write like this. You like it's we like it's ingraining worthlessness still. But as I read on, the point is that if you're lost in the physical, you need to awaken to the chi that is moving within you which is the externalization of your spirit. If we're going to make it work, they're definitely trying to make you feel unworthy, though. It is already there, within you and all around you. You simply cannot use it, see it as of yet. But you will, eventually. And when you do, you will not only master this world, but you will surpass it. For you will be filled with all you will ever need, and more. Needing nothing, you will be free, completely free, and unshackled from the prison of insatiable cravings that so rule the masses. Now that's lit. So I just like flipped emotionally. Like now I'm like on board. But it's because like that wording is really bad. Like when we're looking like you're nothing next to this power, you're less than even a speck of dust. Like I guess elementally, if you think you are earth, you are nothing compared to air. The whole point of earth though is to ground air. And then that's where water can be given to earth and through the air and like create life. And the air represents chi. So chi, air, is only created through actually uniting the internal elements of fire and water, or thoughts and feelings, and that is what is actually animating your body. I'm just not lost in it. Like this, like it really seems like it's speaking on like a spiritual, emotional level, not like a physical, but like whatever. Um, Yes, that's what Hermes is talking about here. Needing nothing, you will be free, completely free. So fasting. So, and that's how fasting works, by the way. So when you fast, you are eating your chi, and your chi actually raises, because you are uniting your thoughts and feelings and doing that in a powerful way, so that you can actually raise your vibration and ascend through this world and all other worlds and be free because you don't need anything. From the prison of insatiable cravings, right, so rule the masses. Desires will never end. That is freedom. That is power.